What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday, Memorial Weekend Sunday in the States. How is everybody doing? Awesome to see you. Yeah, we're getting smoked out. We're getting smoked out in here. Yep. Up in smoke tour, Kuwait 2023. We're doing it. Yeah. I mean, when is it gonna stop? She blows it in our face even. It's like, I don't care if you want to kill yourself, just blow it away from the camera, really. I gotta have my little owl put his gas mask on. He shouldn't have to do that. She's very selfish. Very selfish. Exactly, Charlene. Very such an animal lover. Yeah. Yeah, poor Harry. I mean, the owl is feeling the effects. Can you imagine Harry? Oh my God. Yeah. So let's see who we have in the house today. Hemlock tea. There were some people here a little bit earlier. I don't know if you're here now. AL. What? Yes. Welcome to the nest. Welcome to the nest, all of you owlets. Yeah. It's just Jess, okay? Hey. Kaya Mary, I'm glad you made it. Welcome. Blondie, Camby, shaking but not stirred cat readings. I love the gas mask too. We got to keep our health. I mean, just because we're in a polluted country where no one cares about air quality and there's not even an air purifier in this apartment that we've seen yet. And the air quality is bad enough. And now we're going to add shisha. Just smoke everybody out. Yep. Lily, what's going on, Lily? Awesome to see you. John Galt, I better be learning. There's no old man shaking fist emoji. There should be one, though, right? Nona Barden, only 2 more sessions to go. Oh, Nona, I can't even imagine. But I know you'll kick butt. You will. Oh, only 2. That's a lot. That's something for me to say, right? Only 2. I can't even imagine. Hearts in the chat for Nona Barden, please. She's going through a tough time. I appreciate it, everybody. Blondie, I think I already said that. Jazz Gruel, happy Sunday. Lord of the Fruit Flies is in the house. I thought the gas mask was for the Beezer spray. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to wear one, right? Egg salad sandwich, air quality, shisha, and Beezer spray. It's all pollutants, all of it. Yeah. Shannon, not that Shannon. I like that. Yep, Charlene McGinnis, Virtual Troll Riot. What's going on? Seeker 11477. The Mastermind. What's going on? Everyone's on time. I'm not like a stickler for that at all. So I'm just glad you're here. You get here when you get here. And if you catch it on the replay, that's fine too, Hey, I'm just glad you watch. I don't care. Of course, I love to have everyone here for the live chat, for the interaction. But hey, just the fact that you watch is enough. Thank you so much for all the hearts. Nona, these all are for you, all these hearts. Thank you, guys. Very, very nice. Grateful Life is here. Marianne, Got No Glitter OG, Aunt Katie. We got Susie Q. Assalamu alaikum. This fat bitch. Okay. You made me say it. This fat bitch. Nice. Pix is here. Yes. See Life's Beauty. Mighty Possum the Black Dragon. I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you? Amanda is the owlet who and we're still working on that part, but Amanda came up with the nest for the chat, and we are keeping that. I love it. That's Amanda. All props to her. Tracy Williams is here. Yes. Chronically Less. How's it going? Fuhai. I need my CPAP to breathe. Exactly. My God. There better be a good filter on that thing. Better be. Becky's in the house. How's it going? All right, we got everybody. Juliana Colombo. No replay gang for her today. Awesome. Struggling. Yes, those lungs are definitely struggling for sure. It's a life-saving device. God. Craziness. Crazy. Hey, baby girl bulldog. How's it going? Yeah, hamster lungs are definitely not doing too well. I can only imagine. So first, I just want to take a look at something with you. Okay. It is regarding a virus, not the C one, but the H one, and not H1N1. It's hepatitis. Okay. It's hepatitis. That's what we're talking about. We don't need to be that coded, do we? I hope not. You did some research in the CPAP machine, and Pix actually uses a CPAP. So please direct all of your CPAP questions to Pix. She can answer them for you. She has offered to do that in the past. Hopefully she's up for it today. If not, Pix, just say, you know what? Are you serious? Give me a break here. That's fine too. Okay. All right. So I got to pull up. I took some screenshots of her video. We have to clear something up, okay? Because the community is wilding out with this. Like, they're going way to other levels that we really don't need to go to with this. I saw the video that was posted maybe 8 to 10 hours before hers. So this was not her initiating this topic to get off of the BBJ stuff. A reaction channel did post a video about this. So I watched it right now. Hey, Cart the Cart. I look at the Kuwaiti websites on a fairly frequently basis, maybe like every other day, right? I just like to see what's going on in the news. There are elections, there are strikes happening. There's a lot going on in the country, but it's all very low key. You're never going to really find out the details of any of it unless you're actually there. So I have read the requirements to get a residency permit. Citizenship is near impossible, really. And there are health requirements. I might have even downloaded that. And on the health requirements included is hepatitis B. Basically, any transmittable disease. Now, Kuwait can set their own rules, their own laws. We have to consider that this is an entirely different form of government. This is a family that governs. It's not a democracy. No one's really, it's totally different. So they can set their rules for however they want, for anything that they want. And they can do that on any timeline that they want, really, also. So one of the requirements, they do have to have a health check coming into the country. I got all these human rights documents. I don't know if I got the residency stuff. It's somewhere. Yeah. But one of them is hepatitis B. You can't have that and become a resident. So when I saw that, hey, Kai 15 Bay, Choo Choo, Gal Charlotte, DOT, Krista Marie. When I had heard her say that her test showed positive for hepatitis B like months ago, like she was reading it on a stream, and like her gonorrhea results also, like it was part of that. And I have that video. I downloaded it like a while back, just thinking I might need this at some point, right? And so when I looked at these requirements, I said, oh, Hep B is on the list. Isn't she positive? Now, why would someone share that? Excellent question, Mighty Possum, the Black Dragon. Yeah, good question. Yeah. So I know only really the basics about hepatitis as a whole. I've been vaccinated for A, because you have to when you enter some countries, because hepatitis A is more prevalent in other countries where there's not as much sanitation. I know I've had titers done for hepatitis B. And C, I just think of Pamela Anderson getting it from Tommy Lee, right? The Gaining Gird. Thank you so much for the super chat, $4.99. Do you all remember last summer when her liver was swollen and you could see it poking out her abdomen? It's been poking out for some time, don't you think? Oh, my God. It's been out there. I gotta move my little owl. Where are you gonna go? Up here? Maybe up there. Yeah. You guys remember that? Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate the support. Yeah, there's been stuff poking out everywhere. I mean, let's be real, you know? Amanda, now, I am not a medical professional. I don't have credentials. I do have some background in a clinical form, but I cannot speak on the specifics of a virus. I wouldn't want to. There are channels out there who are going to say, oh yeah, it's like this, you get it like this. Yeah, you know, I'm not comfortable doing that. The videos that have come out and the things that I've seen on Twitter are just wild, absolutely wild. And no one's really taking the time to look a little bit closer at what these test results actually say. And that's a little bit concerning. Amanda Marissa Paris, my sister is an RN, and I told her about this woman's super fatty liver disease, and she was baffled how she cannot care. That is a death sentence when not taken care of. Yeah, and I've read different things. It's like progressive. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is progressive. It's going to take time, and she may die from something else before that. So, I don't know. Unless I have a doctor sitting here with me, I don't really want to, but we are going to look at some things. Betty Boykin, what's going on? All right. When I was in college, the vaccine was required if you lived in a dorm. Okay, Amanda, interesting. All right. Let's look at the results first. I'm going to pull up a screenshot. And my dog is just over there growling out the window, so that's great. That's just awesome. Okay. So here are the results. I took a screenshot from her video. Yeah, she'd have to have that for Cuba too, right? I would think. I'll put you back down over here. Okay. Oh, my dog is gonna start barking. Okay, I know, right, Lily? Oh, we have an RN in the house, guys. Yes. Let me bring her on. I hope my dog stays quiet. Please. There's a little dog. Oh, please. Let me bring her on. How do I add you? There you are. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, I unmuted you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, you can hear me?
I can hear you. Can everyone hear? Okay, Mary.
Hi, you can hear me? Oh, how did I get the echo? Hang on.
No,
I need
that
to
was
mute
me.
myself. Oh, okay.
That was me. Yeah, I put up the volume on my phone to make sure everyone could hear you, and we can. So welcome. I'm so glad you joined.
Thank you. Good to be here, everybody.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, by the way.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh, you do the whole thing. Assalamu alaikum. See, when I think about it, I can't say it, but when I just say it, it comes out. I don't know. It's when I think about it too much, it gets like blah, 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 blah.
No worries. It's fun.
So everybody, Kay Ameri is a nurse. She's a registered nurse. And I reached out. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Sir, please. Shh. I reached out to her earlier today to talk about this hepatitis stuff. Like, I know you're a nurse. I have the information. I went to hepb.org and looked up how to interpret a test result. But like I said, I don't have the credentials and I don't have that level of expertise to speak knowledgeably on it. So thankfully, Kay and Mary decided to come on today. I said, no pressure. If you can. If you want to, no problem. If you don't want to, it's fine too. But we can get the actual answer from a registered nurse. So, Kay and Mary, can you see the screen?
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen, and I'll just go ahead and give myself a disclaimer here. I am not a doctor. I am just looking at the screen, interpreting things. I believe if she really had hepatitis B, that obviously they would not let her go without any treatment. They would not let her anywhere. What I see is it's just detecting that she's been vaccinated. And, you know,
Hmm.
that's all. I mean, I think people are blowing this way out of proportion.
Yeah. Yeah. And, as usual, things just go to a whole other level where people are saying Salah needs to be informed. She could transmit this to him. Now, I'll just pull up what I found from hepb.org. And you take a look at this and see if you think this is a good resource. Just to look, I'm bringing it up on the screen in a moment. It takes a minute.
Sure.
There we go. All right. Okay, so interpreting hepatitis B blood test results. So we have the HBsAg, HBsAb, HBcAb. So we're looking for this is surface antigen and surface antibody. Are you able to explain to us what that means? The difference?
I should have done my homework. I'm going to.
That's okay. That's okay. No, I mean, Kaya Mary she's not a hepatology nurse, okay? Like
No,
she
no, I'm
specializes
not.
in something
I,
else.
I haven't been in the clinic setting for quite some time, but I will say, like antibodies, after you get a vaccine,
Hmm.
it stimulates your antibodies in your system. So I would believe that would be the thing. Antigen, I'm going to have to do a little bit of homework. This sounds kind of embarrassing here.
No,
Um,
it's okay. I shouldn't have put
but
you on the spot like that.
hey, it's okay. And I could have done my homework, but I've got some little ones here that I've been kind of,
You're busy.
yeah, yeah.
You're busy. So what
Now,
Mhm.
go ahead.
Okay. So what I found, because I'm looking at this HBs antibody, because there are all different tests where some are testing for the antigen, some are testing for the antibodies. This is a core antibody, which is again a different test. So these are different tests. So what I looked at, now the antibodies your body forms when it's fighting something off. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And I listened to a couple of videos, like the surface antibody, like the higher the level, it's like you can tell whether it's acute, if it's an actual infection, or if it's a vaccination. They can tell that by the test, is what I understood. So, mhm.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So this is what she put on the screen. So it's hepatitis B virus surface antibody, the value HBs antibody positive flag A. So we're just going to take that for right now. HBs antibody. So we are looking at this column here in the middle, HBs antibody, surface antibody. And now we're going to look down here because we're going to look for the positive because it is positive on her test, right? So we're going to stay in this middle column and we're going to look at the positives. So it's these two right here. It could either be immune controlled, meaning she's protected. Surface antibodies are present due to natural infection, has recovered from a prior Hep B infection and cannot infect others. That's one possibility. The other possibility is has been vaccinated, does not have the virus, and has never been infected. These are the two scenarios. The rest are negative for that test. This is the test she has results for. It's positive. It's one of these two scenarios. Do you agree with that, Kay Mary, or am I a little off?
No, I agree with you. And, again, I'm going to go with the side that she is just showing that she's been vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Hepatitis B is an actual real public health issue.
Yes.
Yeah, so those results would have been reported to a governmental agency or for a public health service for follow-up if they were an actual diagnosis of the disease made.
Okay. Okay. So does that help everybody? Does that help? We can go back to the results and look at those again quickly. Okay, surface antibody. The flag A, people had some problems with that. Let me show that on the screen. It's not. Oh, there we go. Flag A. Now I guess it stands for abnormal. Does that mean that they are looking for abnormalities? That it doesn't mean that her results are abnormal? Or do you know exactly what that means?
I believe it's, whenever I'm looking at flag A and then I'm thinking flag H, does that mean, abnormal and the other one is high? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
she's got just a high level of the antibodies circulating in her blood system. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe I read somewhere she was vaccinated in high school.
Yep.
So what are we talking? Maybe 20 years ago or a little less?
30, maybe. No, yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of myself.
I was gonna say you're talking about mine. You're getting to my level there.
Me too.
So that's what I'm looking for. Maybe I don't know. Again, I'm just speculating that maybe she's got a higher level of the antibodies in her system.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we're not looking at her actual liver function tests. I'm sure those are a mess.
Right. And possibly the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease could affect like her AST, the enzymes, the liver
Absolutely.
enzymes. And maybe that could affect this value, why it's 271. And we haven't looked at the normal range. So 271 could be in range as far as we know. I haven't looked at that.
Yeah, I don't think that the liver enzymes would have an effect on this because we're just looking at the blood cells as far as the immune system.
Okay. So Hemlock T says H would mean high in this case, i.e. more than the normal range.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I love it. We're all pulling together here to get the truth. Just get the truth. I mean, Chantal does enough on her own. We don't have to assign her spreading a communicable disease like to her as well. Doesn't she do enough, I think?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, I'm definitely one has been critical of her, but in this situation, I mean, come on, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. And like she said, it's like there's not a lot going on right now. So people are just kind of making up stuff, kind of. Now, when I saw those requirements for residency in the hepatitis B, and I read just like a preliminary, like CDC type of like, what does this actually involve? How is it different than the other types? And just that it can be an acute infection where the body completely fights it off. And then you have immunity, which is that first one, the immune controlled that we were looking at. That's a possibility. This one here. Or she has a chronic infection, which this test result doesn't indicate that. Sir, please, excuse me, please stop. Thank you, please. Chronic infection would, that's something people really, it's not the majority of people who are infected actually go all to that level where they're spreading it to other people. They're really sick. That's not the majority. And it's like where it's so up in the air where she just said her results were positive. Well, that really doesn't tell us anything. So that's why I didn't want to cover it, didn't want to, I just didn't have enough information to be able to say one way or another. And it's not fair. I feel like if you're going to be credible, you have to take the information that you know is fact and then go off that. If you're just speculating, then you just become a drama channel,
Absolutely. And I think, though, a lot of people want to drum up this drama stuff because of her past social history.
Sure.
And I think that's what they kind of want to run off on and, get everybody stirred up about.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Pix, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for this calm information. Respect. Well, thanks to Kaya Mary for coming up. Gives my channel a little credibility when I have someone with some credentials come up on the panel and we can look at this together. I can't believe my little pooch right now. You're quiet all day. I come on a live stream and there's almost mayhem. Yeah. Yeah. So Juno, the reason that she brought it, she didn't bring it up herself, saying like it's deflection for the visa run or for the BBJ stuff. A reaction channel did post a video about this way before she responded to it. It was a response. She didn't just like bring it up out of nowhere. So, Not Sunshine. If anti-HB titers are 100, okay, Mary, this is your field. I don't know what that value is. 100 equivalent units, international units? No, per milliliter. I'm just winging it. You are considered immune against hepatitis B. You don't have to do anything further for the titer. Okay. Okay. Yep. Hemlock tea knows some stuff, looks like, too. Clarifying my earlier statement, 5 to 12 IU is indeterminate, not normal. Okay. Do you know what she means by that?
Yeah, she was just saying indeterminate means where they can't tell whether it's a positive or a negative.
Okay. The mastermind. So dumb question. It was a drama channel that dropped the info. No, it was not. It was just a reaction channel, just a regular reaction channel, like any of the others out there. Yeah,
I believe that was somebody that came online and did as far as a reaction channel, got it off the farms.
Yes, that is what they said. Yes. That is correct. So they're using like a Tor browser. They're going on the deep web to access Kiwi Farms because it is not up yet. Hey, slightly diluted. How's it going? And oh my gosh, wow, sir. So holiday weekend, there's another little dog visiting the house in back of us, and he doesn't like it. All right. So we can watch the video where, oh my God, it's like, I don't have, really. So we can watch the video where she says that she's positive. And so we can see where this is all coming from. I do have that. How is your holiday weekend going, Kay Mary?
Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah, we don't have too many plans. I had a little preschool graduation thing this morning.
Oh.
And hubby's working and just kind of laid back and taking advantage of the time off.
That's awesome. Awesome. It's really warm where I am today, so I have the windows open, and that's contributing to the noise, unfortunately. Oh, weird. I have so many of her videos. And I had an extended phone call right before I started this stream, so I didn't have my normal time to prepare. But she is just sitting in front of her camera saying, like in the villa, reading off test results. And it was, about the gonorrhea. And she happens to look at the hepatitis B value and she says, oh, yeah, I'm positive. Yeah, that's right. I'm positive. So that's where it comes from. And there we go. I found it. It's pretty short, I believe. Let me bring it up real quick. There we go. Oh, it's only 29 seconds. Yikes. All right. That's what we want. Here we go. Oh my goodness.
Gonorrhea, that was 15th of February, negative. D-dimer, negative. Wow, you wanted to know about my thing. I'm just checking, I just want to check. Hepatitis C, antibody negative. Hepatitis B immunity panel, I do have hepatitis B. Neisseria gonorrhea culture. October 2021, October 19th. Strep.
Okay. So she probably doesn't know enough about it to really say. Like, she wouldn't know antibody or antigen, right? Until what she posted today, I would think.
Yeah, if you I'm sorry. If you heard her speak in the video, sorry, there's an echo. If you heard her speak in the video, she said hepatitis B immunity panel, positive. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Immunity panel positive. Yeah, I guess she was probably so focused on the gonorrhea part, you know,
Right.
that she just kind of like went past hepatitis, like, oh yeah, that's positive. Yeah. Now we can watch her video where she's saying, proving once again that reaction channels are bored liars. Now, I would say we're bored. I would agree with that. Some channels will make up stuff for content, but lying, straight up lying, I don't know. Some channels, I guess. All right, here we go. This is Chantal's video. Chantal, I was going to say her full name. I won't. Look at me clicking all over the place. My goodness, let's get it together. Jeez. There. Do we have volume or no? I don't think we have volume. Do we?
Nope.
Do we have volume? Jeez. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. Get rid of that. Oh my God. I am that kind of person that needs like 5 minutes before something to get collected. And I had like 1 minute. So this is the result. Okay, here we go.
When it comes to my life, and some of it can possibly be detrimental. So if you're one of those channels, you need to stop. Number one, get a life and focus on yourself and stop making up lies. So I actually am now being accused of not being allowed in Kuwait because I have hepatitis B and other STDs. So I just want to prove to you, I dug up my medical information on my online chart, which I'm able to do. All of my test results are there, all of them. So I dug up the ones recently from when before I went to Kuwait. I said that I was tested. Nobody believed me. So I'm going to show you the screenshots right now of the information of the test results, and I will explain the hepatitis B situation right now. This is not a rage. This is calling these dumb, moronic reaction channels out on their lies as usual. By the way, I'm choosing to make a video because I realized that I'm just cluing in that every time I make a community post, I give these leeches free content. So I'm going to make my own content on my own situation. So here we have the first screenshot is the hepatitis B results from the one test I had. Now, when I was in elementary school, I was vaccinated against hepatitis A and B. So if you read correctly, what you're not capable of doing.
Oh. Gee, you can't read? Okay.
But I don't know how else to say this. Hepatitis B virus surface antibody. The key word here is antibody. So yes, I have positive antibodies. Flag A for antibody. Do people know what antibodies are? Sorry, when you get the vaccine, you get antibodies in your body. So nature of abnormal test, where I circled in red. Let me read this for you. So this is not just a normal test for Hep B. If you can read here, it says a positive hepatitis B surface antibody test means you are protected against the hepatitis B virus, which if you read my test results, it says hepatitis B virus surface antibody. So yes, I'm positive for the antibodies. doesn't mean that I have the virus. If I had hepatitis B, I would have definitely been notified and treated somehow. I don't know what they do for hepatitis B, but the government of Canada, the Ministry of Ontario and Health, the Health Ministry of Ontario would not let me have this untreated. There's no way. All right, next.
Now, I feel like in the States, you can be diagnosed with anything and go untreated forever. So is that something different that's in Canada? Does anyone know? Flag A means abnormal or adjusted, not antibodies, says bad seed. Okay. All right.
So, if you remember, I don't know if I did a live stream, but I did go to a clinic before I went to Kuwait. So, as you can see, collected on the 21st of October. I was tested for STDs, HIV, everything. That one got sent away. I would have to check for that. I'm not sure if that one's been posted yet. But chlamydia and gonorrhea are negative. So I actually can't believe I'm showing you all this private information as if you feel like you're entitled to it. I feel that people really need to mind their business and are just bored for content and have nothing else and are desperate at this point because they can't get views.
I can't believe I even have to show you this. I can't believe I'm doing this. Well, then don't do it. I would never bring up medical records, lab test results on the internet, period.
She was proud that her STD tests were negative.
That's true. See, guys, my gonorrhea is cleared. God, there's such a mentality.
Or any kind of attention on their own. So they make up things about my personal life. And I really wish that people would just shut the heck up and mind their business and move on with their day. My health is none of your business, okay? My personal life is none of your business. My status here is none of your business. And nothing is any of your business. So, this is the last I'm going to be showing any of this stuff to you. We will not be showing any other information, personal information to prove any of your lies. You can believe what you want. I'm sure this will be severely picked apart and say that it's fake, even though it's legit, a picture from my phone. But that's totally your prerogative. I no longer care. I'm going to continue to do my content, worry about my beezers, my life with my husband. I just don't like being accused of having diseases that I don't have. That is defamatory. And if I was in Canada and what had the means to, I would be coming after all of you for defamation. So
yeah, defamation. You know, a lot of these lol cows want to threaten a defamation lawsuit, right? I mean, all you have to do is a quick Google search, and maybe it's a little bit different in Canada. I can't imagine it's that different. In the States, you have to prove that you've had a loss of due to the defamatory statements, that people believed it, and as a result, you lost income. That has to be proven. You just look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. She wrote an article saying that she was a victim of SA, all of this stuff. People believed it. He didn't get work. So, and that had a real impact on his career. That's why she has to pay him a lot of money. But something like this, like, okay, you're online saying, oh, hepatitis B positive, gonorrhea negative, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, you can't expect everyone to be an RN, a physician, or someone who's even going to look at it a little bit further to say, well, what is she actually positive for? So she did that to herself. And now where she's so cagey on whether she's going to be a resident of Kuwait or not, what kind of visa she has. And like I saw someone say, I'm sorry, I forgot who it was, that, okay, you're going to show medical test results, but you can't show your marriage certificate. Like, what? What?
before you make up all of these lies about someone's health, think of how it impacts their life. You really don't think at all that interfering with someone's life in any way, how it impacts them, how it impacts their reputation. It's ridiculous at this point. So, I don't expect it to stop. Like I said, people are bored and have nothing better to do with their life. They have no content. That's clear. Whenever there's nothing, the drama dries up. They scramble for things to make up and talk about, and now it's making up things or twisting things maybe that I've said in the past, even if I was infected previously with something before, which I did talk about at the time, because I was under a lot of emotional distress. So actually, for people to bring that up and use it against me because I contracted that in the first place a couple years ago, because my abuser cheated on me without me knowing. He cheated on me and contracted something and gave it to me. And that's how I found out. And even then, I was in denial about it. But what I went through was traumatic and disgusting. And I hope.
Okay. Didn't her and Nader kind of had a romance for like a week or a week and a half? Like not even 2 weeks was my understanding. And because she didn't want Pete's to move out, or she didn't want to live by herself, and Nader, being the masculine dom that he is, wouldn't be able to, he couldn't hack that. His girlfriend living with another man, especially an ex-boyfriend. And, I can kind of get that. And as a result, he said, no, we're not going to have a relationship. And on a previous live stream recently, she said she was in a 2-year highly abusive relationship. With who? I'm like, did I miss something? Like, I know I just came in like a year and a half ago-ish. Like, did I really miss something? Like, I don't think BB was abusive. Like, what's going on here? Like, what?
I hope it never happens to any of you. But for people to use that as a means of trying to use that, what happened to me, against me when it wasn't my fault, making it seem like, ew, you're dirty, you had an STD, you had disease, when again, it wasn't my fault, I was cheated on, is absolutely disgusting. And I cannot believe that people still support and follow creators who serve no purpose on the YouTube platform other than to defame and harass people for no reason, just for content. For your entertainment, you are inventing the fact that you think that I have diseases when you have no proof. That's your entertainment. Please think about that. And honestly, you all need to do better. It's really sad.
Do better. Beauty. Do better. You really should be above this. Do better.
This point, I'm just trying to live my life and proving time and time again that all of the lies and accusations are BS, but they just get turned around again and again. So you know what? Have fun. But again, I've just proven you that you're all liars. And so with that information, I wish you well. Bye.
Yeah. And then now we have from 7:40 to 8:17. This is on the screen, making this video 8 minutes so she can get an ad in the middle, because it has to be a minimum of 8 minutes. Like, this to me looks like a problem with Google. I would never try to pull something this blatant ever. No way. Yeah. So, Kay Mary, do you have anything else to add about anything? We don't have to just talk about hepatitis. Anything you want to discuss?
Well, I mean, we can go ahead and if you're interested in wrapping up the hepatitis, and we can move on to other questions about Islam or anything like that. But, if anybody else has any questions or any other comments, but I think we can all probably move on from this Hep B issue. I think that we've had enough information sharing on that.
a lot of TMI on that. Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions for the registered nurse about hepatitis B and how this applies to Chantal? Because she's here, so she'll do the best that she can to answer.
Bad seed is hilarious.
What is?
I said bad seed is hilarious.
Bad seed.
Her comments are funny. Sorry.
Yeah, she's got to know that's not an antibiotic. It's not she's still got to use protection, right? My God. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Kaya Mary, you may know already. Wow, my dog, unbelievable. Someone's probably cooking hot dogs outside. What the heck? He's outside, and we can hear him inside. I gotta get him in a second because that's unbelievable. Oh, someone just subscribed. Let me see. Let me play that again. See who it was. Unite and Create for Life has just subscribed. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, as you may know, Kaya Mary, in addition to being a registered nurse, she's also a Muslim revert. So, I mean, what a great resource to the community you are, for real. Does anyone have any questions regarding? Actually, she can answer the same kind of questions that I can, really, because she's a revert, as I am. She has, Kaya Mariam, I don't know, have you been to Algeria? I know your husband is
Yes.
from there. You have? Okay.
Yes. I've been many times, and I've been to Turkey.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, she has some experience in Turkey as well. So, Arab culture, Turkey's Middle Eastern, but not Arab.
Right.
But, so she could probably answer a little of both in that case. Yeah, Arab culture, Islam, anything like that. We are open to questions, and I am thankful to have you here if you do have a few minutes, because like I can't answer everything. I have my experience, and that's what I have, you know. But you're gonna have experience that I don't have.
Sure. Yeah, I'm glad to tag team with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. What kind of dog is it? We'll wait for some questions to roll in. I'll talk about my doggy. My dog. That's a story. That is a story. So that is a story. They're from Egypt. They are from Egypt. I brought them back with me. I put a couple on the plane. I said, let's go. I had a couple more sent. And there was a litter of 10. And there are now 3 remaining. And that's actually what I was doing before this stream. I was talking to the owner of the 3rd. We just some very strangely connected because I didn't want to know about the adoption. It's just very painful to know that one of my dogs is with someone else, you know. But the adoption that went through, that person passed away recently, so this person now has her. So we talked for a couple of hours, told her the whole story about the dogs, and she's like, "Wow, I didn't even know she has siblings." Yeah, oh yeah, it's a big story. So they are Egyptian street dogs. They were born on the street, and their mother died when they were 12 days old. There was a litter of 10, and my former partner and I took the litter and we bottle fed them and raised them, and that was a long time ago. So we still have 3 remaining. That's the dog question. Okay, Mary, you go ahead and grab questions from the chat. It's very difficult for me to highlight them for some reason. So feel free to just read the question, who wrote it, and then we can both answer, or whoever.
Sure. Okay. So the first question from Mama Mayhem: do you think Chantal is following proper rules and culture of Islam? Shall I go ahead and answer?
Sure.
No, I don't believe that she's following proper rules and culture of Islam. And neither is her husband. Sorry if, she's listening and we're calling them out, but it is what it is. I don't believe any God-fearing Muslim man would allow his wife to sit on a couch and talk the way she does in public and eat.
Yes.
How she does, talks about the things the way she does. Absolutely not. I think that it would be demasculizing, whatever you want to call it, demasculizing, whatever it's called to him, and disrespectful, big time.
I would largely agree with that. The behaviors that are online, and we don't know what she does when she logs off. I can't imagine that she's all that different, but hey, we don't know. It's a possibility. As remote of a possibility it might be, we don't know. But the behaviors that she exhibits publicly online are not representative of Islam. So
yes, agree.
yeah. So seeing and I just I'm finishing editing a video. Hey, welcome, whatever cartoon. What is that? Something cartoon, the Black Dragon. So, and where she calls out women that are wearing makeup and women that are wearing tight clothes. I cover this, and I did go in a little bit, and I usually do hold back because we don't know. But she's clearly judging people for, oh, what's the point of wearing hijab if you're going to wear skin tight clothing, ma'am? You are wearing a skin tight abaya, so they're not skinny jeans. It's a skin tight abaya. We can see everything, and it's not even about the clothing or makeup or any of that. The behavior, the way she's behaving online. If you're not representing Islam, but wearing that hijab, you are. They don't match up. They don't align. You can't act like that. Take off the hijab. You want to act a fool? That's fine. Be yourself. Welcome, Uncle Bucket. Be yourself. That's fine. But don't represent us while you're acting like that. It's just ridiculous.
Well, and this is why we're here, is to counteract what everybody is seeing and letting you all know that this is not a proper representation of the religion.
Yes, that's right. That's why I had to start this channel. I'm like, enough is enough. we can't allow this. It was just, it's propagating too many stereotypes that are negative. And she's just reinforcing them. And it's bad enough we have that to work against. And she's not helping. So,
Absolutely.
Lord of the Fruit Fly says, is it strange that Chantal is not going to hang out with other Muslim women to study and learn, not just the Quran, but Arabic as well? Okay, Mary?
I would think that it would be rather difficult for her in a place where she doesn't speak the language to go and study and learn. She definitely has the opportunity to take revert classes online. There's lots of resources out there with good information. But as far as locally, I think it would be rather difficult unless she found some people that spoke English.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very strange to me. When I arrived in Egypt, like I didn't want just my husband and his family as my social contacts. I need a network of people to keep a sense of reality. As far as Chantal knows, Kuwait is only what Salah tells her because she hasn't experienced anything on her own. So to not even want to go out and meet, even if you just start with other expats, like there's probably some Canadian association in Kuwait. I would not be the least bit surprised that she could just go hang out, have some coffee, and meet other Canadians. Like, oh, you here for work? Are you here? Does your husband work here? Whatever. But she hasn't done that we know of. I think she probably would mention it. And as far as Islam, we know that she's not meeting other Muslimas because of the hijab. No one would let her continue wearing it like this. In my opinion.
Well, and I do want to put it out there, though, that everybody that does wear hijab, we all have our faults, we all sin, we have our weaknesses. But again, taking the image of someone online that makes videos and acts a certain way, we definitely want to refute that. This is not representative of the religion and its teachings.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Tally Ooh says, like with most religions, I get stuck on the inequality of women's rights. I'm so glad you're here for this, Kay Mary. What are your feelings about this? I'm not trying to be aggressive, just curious. Absolutely. Guys, don't feel like we're going to take your questions personally. We know that there's a lot of curiosity and a lot of things that you might have heard, but you're not sure if they're true. We're not going to take offense unless you really come at us, and we're going to know if that's the case. So Kay Mary, what do you think of this?
I will say that I was of that opinion one time, a long time ago, before I even reverted to Islam, about the women being treated, differently. Mm-hmm. And as a practicing Muslima, I would say we are treated differently because in the Quran, it says that men are the protectors and maintainers of the wives of the women. Mm-hmm. The men are supposed to take care of us, and the women are supposed to help take care of the children and raise the family.
Mhm.
I don't think that it's very, how do I want to say it? I don't think it's unfair. I think it's honorable. I think it's a beautiful thing that the husbands protect and maintain their wives, and all within due respect. There, you're always going to see somebody that's stepping over the lines and being abusive or anything like that, and Islam does not teach that. Um, the women, of course, should respect the husbands, and the husbands should respect their wives. Um, it's a lifestyle. I want to tell you, Islam is a lifestyle. It's not just you go to, for example, in Christianity, you go to church every Sunday and pretty much not think of it the rest of the week. And I can say that because I was a former Christian. I am a former Christian. In Islam, you live it, you breathe it, you eat, sleep it, everything, because you're doing your 5 daily prayers. The way you speak, and make your prayers before you eat, before you do everything. There is a prayer before you do everything. So again, I just want to reiterate that it's a lifestyle, and that Allah has made rules for the men and the women and how we should conduct ourselves as a family. And so therefore, I don't believe that there's any inequality.
Yeah, I would I definitely agree with that. Also, I would like to say, and people are not going to believe this, but it's true. I felt more respected as a woman in Egypt than I have ever in the States to this day. I felt acknowledged as a woman. I've never carried anything heavy in Egypt ever. Ever. Now that could be okay, you could say, oh, it's a gender role and that's repressive and whatever. Myself as a woman, I really appreciated that. I'm really tired in the States of I think it's I'm not sure what has caused it, but where able-bodied, strong young men can watch an older female or an elderly female really struggle with lifting something and just sit back and watch. That it always blew my mind, before, and since coming back from Egypt, it's even more in my face. Like, what is wrong with these men? Please. And usually see another woman step in to help, and the men are just sitting. So that's a cultural thing, and it is also religious too. Like, why would you allow that if you're an upstanding man? Feeling respected also when I did wear hijab in Egypt, and I was Christian the whole time, but there were times that I wore it. I felt that people saw me for me, not for my blonde hair that I had at the time, not for my figure, not for cleavage or like legs or any of that. They were listening to me as a person. I felt like I was seen as a person and more respected, therefore. So where inequality of women's rights, I see what you mean as far as like in the legal system, but there are reasons for all of those things, and that's a lot. We're not going to get into all of that today, but there are reasons why a man can marry 4 wives and a woman cannot marry 4 husbands. There was a time I thought I wanted 4 husbands because I'm like, oh, you'd be good at this, you're good at that.
Never. No. Too much work.
That one. Yeah.
No way.
Yep. All right. Do you are you seeing any questions you want to grab?
Let's see here. Somebody was asking, where'd it go? One second here. They were basically asking, do we like people with different views? Well, I'll tell you one thing, we don't hate. We're not taught to hate anyone.
Right.
We are taught to be respectful of everyone. There's even a chapter in the Quran that talks about other religions. And basically, to sum it up, it's, to each their own. To you is your religion, and to me is mine. So we're not taught to hate or be against anyone, but I will just say, though, that Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all Abrahamic faiths.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like open up a whole big topic here, but if you want to research, I encourage you to research. It's they've got a lot of things in common. Let's just say that.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And they refer to that as people of the book. That's how it's referred to, the monotheistic religions, the Abrahamic religions, people of the book. And that doesn't mean that we hate anyone who doesn't believe that. If you worship multiple gods, I don't hate you. That's for you, and mine is for me. It's not. There's no judgment. It's yeah. Has to be the right man. I could never respect a buffoon like Salah, Charlotte says. And same, absolutely. You know, if you're an upstanding woman like Kaya Mary seems to be, and I know I am an upstanding woman. I do the very best that I can every single day. I'm not a scumbag. I can say that. And I expect from my man to also be the same. And in Christianity, they call it equally yoked. Like, yeah, I would never. Someone like Salah? No, of course not. You know, of course not. But maybe he and Chantal are somewhat the same. Maybe that's what's going on there. I don't know. Do you think she is using religion for her personally dues? For her personally dues. I'm not sure if that was maybe it was written. So maybe like, do you think she's using religion for her own use, for her own, it's not really about religion? For me, I have always known that we cannot know what's in someone's heart. I don't know why she reverted. I don't know why she's wearing this. I could never, we can see from the outside, we could speculate, but really we don't know what's actually going on with her. What do you think?
I'll be honest. You know, I've been watching her probably since 2015 or 16, however long she's been out, you know, when she was doing makeup and all this. And then I went away for a while until a friend of mine said, "Hey, you got to go catch this. She's wearing hijab now." And I'm like, no way, you know. And I'm going to be honest with you. I made dua for her. That means I made a prayer for her to, you know, for Allah to guide her to the right path and to do the right thing. And I mean, if someone wants to convert to Islam, I mean, that's something, at least to me, and I'm sure to you and any other revert, is something we take very, 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 very serious. And that's why sometimes I get kind of disappointed when I'm seeing her behavior online on how she's acting.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, it's such it's an emotion. It's a big decision to make. It's huge. And for me, it was like this sudden revelation, like, oh my God, I think I'm Muslim. Like, I believe all of these things. How can you be? I'm really going to be a Muslim? Like, I was shocked. And it really got me by surprise because I was just reading and curious and looking up things. And I said, oh, okay, I do believe most everything here. I'm not really struggling with a lot here. And when you finally take your shahada, it's so emotional. And just to watch someone take their shahada in the mosque, it's like everybody is just like, I can't describe it. It's like, it's so emotional. You just want to like, welcome to the effing family, yo. Come here, like bring it in. Let's hug, you know? It's like, you know, so I see it. It's like, wow, like amazing. And people always want to know the revert story. How did you come to Islam? They always want to know that. Yes. So when you see someone like Chantal and she's just kind of repeating what she's hearing, you know, when she takes her shahada, we don't know if she got an English copy of it beforehand, if she really knew what she was saying. I hope so. I would assume so. But, you know, she was given a Quran to read, transliterated so she can read it, translate it also. But to me, what one of the things that really attracted me to Islam and something that I experienced in Egypt were people's behaviors, how we treat each other, not necessarily about, you know, Mecca in Saudi Arabia. That wasn't that relevant to me. To me, it was, we're not going to speak badly about that person in public. Let's just give them a break for now. We can discuss it privately, where sometimes in other societies, there are no limits. People just go all in. So I really respected that. And I saw that that was a pattern of people acting that way.
MashaAllah. Wonderful. I wanted to bring up Juliana Colombo's question. She
Okay.
asked if there were any particular sites you recommend if interested in learning more about Islam and reversion.
Sure.
I would say www.whyislam.org. I think that's a wonderful site to get started.
I'm going to type it in the chat for people. And then there are websites, there are whole websites for people who are newly reverted. Like, okay, you know, you decided, like, you're in, okay, like, how do we actually do this on a day-to-day basis? And this is the type of thing where Chantal doesn't have to leave her apartment if she doesn't want to. She can go online. She can have a community of people online. She can talk about the struggles that she's having, things that she's finding challenging, and get solutions for them. No one figures it out on day one. There are always going to be things that people struggle with. I struggle with a lot. And it's much harder living in the States. What was that?
I was going to say, yeah, of course, we're human. You know, everybody's got their struggle.
Yes. We just try not to be so open about it online and tell everybody, you know, but
Absolutely.
you know, so yeah. And there are tons of websites for sure. For some reason, none are coming to mind, but I'm constantly searching. Can Foodie get blacklisted from returning when she goes to Canada? Blacklisted from Kuwait? I don't know. Okay, Mary, do you know?
Why would she get blacklisted? Because of how many times that she's come and gone? That might set off a flag, but I don't know.
It's really hard to say. In Egypt, you could go to this government building. I showed it in my drive through Cairo. It's called Mogama. You just walk in there every 90 days, whatever year, whenever your visa expires, and you get an extension. And people do that for years and years and years. But Kuwait is very different. They have a very small population who are actually Kuwaiti nationals, and they want to keep it that way. They're not looking to they're not too lenient about letting people come in. So I would think, I mean, they have a ton of restrictions. They would have to, I'm sure they would give her a reason not to, but it's hard to say. We don't really know enough, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Hi, Lemons Limes. How's it going? Can you have gay friends? What is the reality for homosexuals in your experience? What do you think?
I have gay friends.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Muslim. I mean, you know, again, we're going to treat people with respect. That doesn't mean that we have to accept their beliefs.
And I have no issue with anyone gay, bisexual, transgender, whatsoever. I respect pronouns, you know, like to me, it's not even really related. When it comes to religion itself, it's like, yeah, I guess like we were saying with different religions, like you have yours and I have mine. It's really none of my business. Like, I don't expect anyone to be interrogating me about my practice as a Muslim, just like I wouldn't be questioning someone else and what they're doing. If they're a good person, if they're nice, if they're respectful, if they're kind, like that's a good person, period. So what is the reality for homosexuals? I would think in a Middle Eastern Arab country, a predominantly Muslim country, you really have to be on the down low, like seriously on the down low.
They'll get arrested.
Get killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a very, very real thing. So I can only imagine how oppressive that must feel, not being able to live your real life out loud. It's got to be hell, absolute hell, I would think. Let's see. Why do all the men dance together at weddings?
I'll say that they, well, typically at a wedding, it's not like our weddings that we have here in the West. The men and women are separated. So the men are going to have their little party and the women are going to have their little party. So the men dance together at weddings. It's as a celebration. It's kind of a cultural thing. It has nothing to do with religion, if you ask me. So it's just one of those things that they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there is something called the stick dance that some men in some Arab countries do. It's like an actual, like it's a dance that they do traditionally, and it's only men that do it. But I think sometimes like genders just naturally segregate, and so you can't look too much into that. Like if you're at a party, like let's say you're at our Memorial Day party tomorrow, and all the men kind of gather around the grill cooking, and maybe all the women are inside in the air conditioning sitting in the kitchen chit-chatting, and that just happens naturally sometimes. Some countries are more strict than others as far as gender segregation. In Egypt, it really didn't exist except in the mosque. I have a little bit of a story. I worked at a couple of different schools while I was there, and one of them was an Islamic school. Actually, now that I think of it, I'll have to verify this. It was an Emirati country who was funding it, and I want to say Kuwait, but I gotta make sure. But I mean, they had archery, they had like a big pool. It was crazy. Well, some guys, this is so funny. Some guys, oh, what a place. What are the stories I could tell you guys? They could go on for days. I started this school, right? They like to hire foreigners. These two black guys come in, and I'm like, they look American, but they don't. Like, what's going on here? They were from Detroit, Michigan. I was like, okay. But they practiced, remember we were talking about madhabs and different forms of practice following Islamic jurisprudence. It's imams that made rulings years and years ago, and it's kind of a regional thing. And that's how you get these little differences here and there. Well, they were practicing, it's called Salafi. And Salafi is very common in Saudi Arabia. It's I can't even tell you how much more strict it is than Maliki or Hanbali. Very, very strict. So these men were wearing pants that were a couple inches short. And I didn't get it. My ex told me, like, that's how the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, wore his pants, because he didn't need the extra cloth like it was an extravagance. So they were wearing their pants the same way. And he's like, they're probably Salafi. Well, we're all lining up to get our monthly pay, okay? You gotta line up and get an envelope. Like, there's no direct deposit. There's no technology. Forget it, right? So you're standing in line waiting for your pay. And everyone's just lined up. And these guys come through. Detroit, Michigan, okay? They're like, oh, no. Men over here, women over here. No. And I just looked back at him. I'm like, you're in Egypt. We're all trying to get to the front of the line, period. No one's worried about that here. So, yeah, segregation, it's different for different countries for sure, and different rules. And as I said, sometimes it just happens naturally. Kestrel star, I can't even see it. Gosh, Kestrel Stargazer. I'm always nervous to Google about Islam because I found sites that were clearly anti-Islam, but were presenting it like it was an Islamic site. I've seen that too, and it's like in one of the top 3 search results too. Yeah. So yeah, be careful. We should probably compile like a list of good resources that people know have been vetted if they are interested in looking into stuff more, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Because you're right. You can go across a website and it looks legit, and then it's telling you a bunch of falsehoods, so.
Right. Like beat up your wife every Friday after prayer, stuff like that. It's like,
ridiculous stuff, yeah.
This doesn't seem legit. Sort of off topic, but I just saw a news clip saying that a Canadian doctor died yesterday on Everest, slim and fit. That's on topic as far as I'm concerned. People die there all the time.
Yeah.
Fit people. Yeah. It's not easy.
She's
Not-
training, training for base camp.
yeah, 6 months, November-ish. Yep. Yep. She'll make it. Sure. What about Muslims who are Muslim? I'm sure it's different now as well in America or Canada or similar countries. Are you talking about Muslims who are gay? I guess we would need a little more context, unless I'm probably missing something from the chat. If you want to clarify, we'll definitely come back to that. I knew someone who had deep pain from being gay and Muslim. In the end, she tried to embrace some of Sufism. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, Sufism is far more relaxed. The whirling dervishes, if you've ever seen that, like spinning around, is a form of worship for them. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mary, if you see questions you want to grab, don't hesitate and interrupt me too. No
Sure.
problem.
Okay. I see two questions that I'd like to answer. One's from Lily. Are Muslim women forced into marriages or do they choose? Sorry. No need to be sorry. And religiously, if we're talking about religion, Muslim women are not forced into marriages. Now, culturally, maybe that's a different story, but the religion does not promote women to be forced to marry whoever their family chooses. So wanted to go ahead and answer that. The next question was from Left Early. I learned about the different small prayers and learned you say Alhamdulillah after you sneeze for yourself. What do you say for someone else that sneezes? So usually if you sneeze and you say Alhamdulillah, the person that hears you sneeze, you say Yarhamukallah. And then there's another dua you say back to them. And I forget it every time. And it's so funny because my husband's looking at me expecting me to say it. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, those little things. And that's another, like, how it's all part of daily life. Like someone sneezing. Something as simple as that. It's a constant reminder.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, it's a lifestyle, the way you live.
Mm-hmm. All right. What else do we have here? I'm just gonna put up a banner so people that are just coming in know that we are taking open questions. And Kay Mary, let me know, when I know you're a busy lady, so don't feel obligated. But I love that you're
I've got
here.
about I'm glad to be here. I've got about 10 more minutes and then I got to start preparing things for the husband's arrival and getting the children up and ready for dinner, that kind of thing. So
okay, yeah. So 4:30, we will let you go. Okay. Yeah. So anyone, if you have a question about Islam, about Arab culture, put it in the chat and don't worry about how you're phrasing it. And I appreciate, like, everyone is, sensitive and wants to be sensitive about it. But, I don't know about Kay and Mary, but I'm used to hearing it flat out. Like, you're a religion of terrorism and hate. Like, I've gotten that a million times. So it's like, so don't feel like, oh my God, I don't want to offend them. We're going to know if someone is really coming at us. And, so please go ahead and ask. If you have questions about, we don't know a lot about visa stuff. I would definitely refer to Milk Tea.
yes.
She's amazing. And she knows it. She's lived in several Middle Eastern countries and she's been through the visa process herself. So she gets it.
Definitely. Amanda asks, is it difficult to have dogs or pets and have fellow Muslim friends around? And I know you have dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. And I was, of course, raised with having dogs in the house as pets, but I am of the thought process of, the angels not entering the house. If we have dogs, they should be kept for hunting or security, that kind of thing. And everybody has their stance on things. So that's what I follow. And as far as any other pets, I mean, of course, cats are always welcome in homes. I don't have any pets. I would prefer not to. I have plenty of children to take care of. So,
Mhm.
uh, but you can go ahead and speak for your experience.
Well, yeah, you hear one of my dogs in the background constantly, right? He's just a little bit vocal, on occasion. But yeah, it's different med hubs, different ways of practicing. For me, I think cats are creepy. No, I mean, they don't need you for anything. They act like it, right? And they just, I don't know. I think there's something going on with cats personally. But yeah, I mean, yeah, dogs, pets, fellow Muslims around. To me, when with the dogs, it's more cultural. Where if someone was attacked by a street dog in their home country, they may not want to be around my dogs. But I was dating a guy from Russia who was afraid of my dogs for the same reason. So, and he's not Muslim, so could be. How do single Muslim women date? The Gaining Gird asks. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll take it. Usually, some communities here in America, for example, some communities will hold single events, um, sponsored by the local Islamic community. And also, I think what I've seen, especially overseas, and probably even over here too, is your family. Your mom is friends or knows somebody that has a son or a nephew or whatever, and they try to introduce them that way. And for example, if they ever do decide that they want to be introduced, it will be chaperoned. There will never be, there's no such thing as one-on-one dating in Islam if we're going by the rules. Um, there's always going to be a chaperone involved whenever they're courting.
Yep. And I live in an area where there's not many Muslims. So, like, unfortunately, there's really no social events. Like, you go to the mosque and some of the women don't want to socialize because you are a single Muslim woman. And if their husband is maybe looking for another wife, like some consider you to be a threat in my experience. So that can be a little weird at times. No, yeah, Kay Mary's right. There is no one-on-one dating allowed. That said, there are a couple of memes. I have a couple of memes. I should just post some links and stuff if you guys want to check them out. Most of them are American, and they're living a very American lifestyle and are reverts also. And they have recognized, for example, a woman needs a male guardian to basically sign off on a marriage. It's called a wali. And they were saying, not every woman has one. In my case, my father is deceased. I don't have brothers. My uncles live far away. What would I possibly do? I don't really have a man to come over and be like, oh yeah, I'll check this out for her. I know all about her, and I don't have that. So they look at the reality of it for older people, for reverts who haven't grown up like this. I have used websites like muslima.com, and I've met a couple of guys through that. One in person, and he was an alcoholic. So,
SubhanAllah.
So just being on, it's like eHarmony. Oh, you think you're going to get oh, this person is faith-minded and with it. Yeah, whatever, right? So, clearly an alcoholic, not even speculation. I was talking to a guy on muslima.com from Saudi Arabia. He lived in Texas. He worked for an oil company. And after, I don't know, a week of texting, he sent me a D-pic, an eggplant in a text message. I'm like, dude, we met on an Islamic marriage site. What are you doing? He says, oh, I sent it by mistake.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, so who was it actually intended for?
Yeah.
And he's kept asking me for pictures. So I just kept putting on different scarves and taking pictures of myself wearing different scarves. And he's like, yeah, you got anything else? Nope. I saw where that was going. No. So men are men regardless, right? So we are, like attracts like, and I didn't want that. It's not what I'm looking for. I wanted someone who was going to take it fairly seriously. It's not a hookup site. It's not Tinder.
Yep.
Also, a man who is truly interested in getting to know you for the purpose of marriage will actually state that flat out and will ask to speak with your father. I've had that said to me before. Like, can I call your dad? Can I visit your dad and ask him if I can get to know you for the purpose because I would like to marry you. And I've had that said to me. And it's like, wow, really? Wow. Yeah. And then you just kind of go from there. So in Egypt, young people, they go on group dates. They just all go out together and you get to know each other that way. There can be an engagement, and after the engagement, they can go out separately. At least in Egypt, they can do that. I don't know about elsewhere, but they can go out alone if they're engaged. Is it that way in Algeria or your experience?
I know about Turkey. In Turkey, they have let them go out on their own if they're engaged. But I think in Algeria, probably not. It depends on the family and how observant practicing that they are.
Yeah.
I would think not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Lily says, can Muslim men marry multiple women or not? Yes, they can. They have to marry a woman of the book, which we said before. So she has to be Christian or Jewish, preferably Muslim if they want to have children. It's a little bit easier, but doesn't have to be. It has to be either Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. I have learned my own thing about multiple wives. Okay, Mary, what have you learned? And I'll share after you.
As far as the men marrying multiple women,
Yes.
I know that it is permissible, but there are a lot of rules that have to be followed. And I'm going to be honest with you, nowadays it's rather difficult for a man to have multiple wives because he's supposed to be able to treat them the same. He's supposed to be providing for them financially the same. Everybody is to be treated equal.
Yep.
And let's be honest, not too many men can do that.
Right.
So this part of the religion, although it's permissible, the majority of the people, if you see them that they're in multiple marriages, especially living here in America, it's kind of impossible if you ask me. What kind of a man's going to be able to treat, 2 or 3 different women the same and provide the equal amount of money and housing, for example?
Yep.
Yep.
It's got to be equivalent. If she has a house, then the other wife has a house. Same value, same, square footage, like ish, But the reason for men having multiple wives is kind of multifaceted. It's not just because they want a variety of women to sleep with, although I'm sure some have done it for that reason also. But it can also be because when you're a single woman in an Islamic country, you'd have to work full time, which is difficult. It's difficult here, right? But there, the commuting is just, you can be out of the home for 14 hours a day easily. And if you have children, you have to come back and take care of. Like, how? People do it, of course. But so sometimes a man will accept financial responsibility for a woman and marries her. But there may not be like a romantic relationship there. They're married for, it's easier for her financially, socially. I found in Egypt, it was much easier sometimes if I had my ex with me doing some things. If I went by myself, I could get stuff done, but it seemed like, and that can definitely come off a little chauvinistic. And I would agree with you if you're thinking that, where you got to take your husband to the mechanic to get a fair price on your car repair. It does feel similar to that at times. And we don't have to agree with it or accept it or want it, but it's a reality in the society. Sometimes it's just makes things a little bit easier. So men can marry up to 4 wives at the same time, but it isn't always for romantic reasons.
I'm gonna have to step off. I'm gonna have to step down for now.
We're 2 minutes over. I apologize for keeping
It's
you.
okay. It was a pleasure, and we'll have to do this again
Yes.
sometime.
Thank you so much for coming up. It's like,
Right.
I'm sure it's a huge breath of fresh air for everybody. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for your questions.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everybody give a round of applause, please, for Kay Ameri for participating in today's stream. I really kind of asked her last minute, so that was awesome for her to come up. Awesome. So we can definitely continue with some questions. Someone asked, and it's hard for me to go back to, unfortunately, but here it is. Can a Muslim man marry a Catholic without conversion? Yes. The answer is yes. Christian, and it can be any denomination of Christianity. Judaism can be Orthodox or not. Yeah. Men to be wealthy to afford each one. Yes. Yeah. I mean, to provide the equivalent to each separate wife. Yeah. I mean, it's in this day and age, it's nearly impossible. Yeah. Can't you go through a matchmaker who screens? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yeah, they exist. Definitely. Yeah, like you see sometimes like arranged marriages in some countries and in some cultures, and these people stay together and they actually seem happy. So it's like, what do they base it off of so many different things, like social class, finances, values. And like when everything aligns like that, I'm sure it is much easier. And then you can develop feelings over time, I guess is how it works, Yeah. So 0 chance Salah has another wife. I think he does have another wife, personally. I think he does. I've always thought that. It would be very unusual for a man his age to not be married. I mean, extremely unusual. And somewhat unusual to not have a child already. I mean, he says he's in his late 20s. Okay. Even if we take him at his word, that is still, like, it would be very unusual to be that old without having been married already. So, yeah. And if he married Chantal on paper so that they can be in an apartment together and film a couple of hours a week together, that's possible, of course. And that would be a certain type of marriage that seems to be, it's in Kuwait, where the woman actually gives up a lot of her rights in order to have the marriage. Like, he doesn't have to fully financially support her, or it can all be stipulated in the contract, but it wouldn't have to even be equal with his first wife. In USA, do you have, or are you a member of multi-faith networks? I don't know what that is. We have a wonderful one in my UK town where we had lunch together every month to try to reduce the resentment between the communities. I've never heard of that here. Sounds nice, though. Sounds nice. In my area, everyone just tends to live and let live. Like, there's not a lot of harassment of people who are different or anything like that. The woman a Muslim man marries has to be Muslim, Christian, or Jewish and practicing, moral, and chaste. The latter part is critical. It depends on the man. What if he's not chaste? He might not really care about that. Is there a limit for the man to have multiple women? Yes, the limit is 4, up to 4. No more than 4. Yeah. Let me just go directly to YouTube to read the chat, because this just does not work that well. So why Salav would have tried to find some woman that already in his religion or know about it. This is from Dolly Wink. I hope I'm not sounding ignorant, but I'm new to Foodie World. Welcome to Girl World. I don't know if you really want to be here or not. That will come out in time. Okay. I mean, I'm still like, what? Really? God, it's kind of, I don't know. It definitely has some positives. As with any community, it also has a few drawbacks. tried to find a woman that is already in his religion. I mean, yeah, ideally, sure. But if he falls in love with a Christian woman or a Jewish woman, there's nothing stopping him. It's absolutely permitted. No problem. And that's not an ignorant question at all, at all. I'm sure if it's someone who's young, who wants to have children, it would be easier, just like with anybody, it would be easier to marry someone of your faith when it comes to raising children, you know? So, yeah, I'm sure. I think the other wife lives in the tent that Chantal calls camping. Is that she lives in the tent where Chantal goes in there and dances with the women, right? Yeah, probably. The man has to provide equally, so I'm guessing there's no hierarchy with the wives. Like, first wife has more seniority. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I've never heard of that. It doesn't really even get discussed that much because it is so impossible. But I mean, I have heard of instances where a couple has been together for a very long time and they hate each other. They hate each other. But socially, they don't want a divorce. Maybe they have kids. Maybe they have a business together and everyone knows them as this family business. Like, it would be kind of scandalous for them to divorce and, you know, just not worth it. But maybe he wants to have a mistress and that's not allowed. But maybe the wife is like, you know what? Go ahead. Get out of my hair. Go. Yes, go ahead and marry her. She can be your second wife. That could happen. That could happen. Yeah. Definitely. that does happen. Foodie is insanely jealous. She could not handle another wife scenario. I would think that it's very difficult for most women. I mean, can you imagine? But I think it would be especially difficult for someone who doesn't appear to be accepting the behaviors of a Muslim, to be exhibiting the behaviors of a Muslim. Because when you're living it day in, day out, you start to understand more the reasons behind things. But I mean, there are certainly women who understand the reasons fully, who get it. They don't want to be going against Islam, but still, like, no, I don't want it. I don't blame them. You know, it would really, you know, but it's not, like I said, it's not really that cut and dried. It might not be, I want to have two different women to sleep with. It could be much more complex than that. Much more. Yes, he is married, and Nader too is married in Egypt. I would not be surprised at all. That's common. I have a big family in Turkey. They all marry early. Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. Yep. Yep. The woman has to be chaste by Sharia law. Sure. But what's law and what's actually practiced in real life sometimes are not the same. Just being realistic, you know? My family actually has an interfaith shelter for women and children. We accept all religion in our family. We do not discriminate. Awesome. As you shouldn't. That's great. What is the thought of Middle Eastern society in general when you have such a shameful wife? Oh, that's a good question. It's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. Like, I don't even know how this is still going on. Like, someone should have stepped in way before we got to this point. Like, he's on camera. He's showing his face. People know who he is. People are going to see him out and about. And it's like, this, anyone wants to be proud of their husband or proud of their wife, you know? Like, this is just so over the top. Like, even if it's just for money, the damage this could do to his reputation is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, why would you do that to yourself? He's got to be gaining something pretty significant from this to put his reputation that much at risk. You know, it's one thing if, like, okay, she's extremely obese. If someone's not that attractive, like, okay. But this is a behavior. This is acting. a fool, just acting a fool randomly online in front of thousands of people and saying that she's your wife. It's embarrassing as a Westerner, but at least your family's reputation, I mean, everything reflects on you and your family. Why would you do this to yourself? There's got to be something he's really getting out of it. Would you say Salah is a typical Muslim man? I don't really know much about Salah, though. I know what he shows us. My experience with Muslim men? No, he's not at all. At all. At all. The fact that he sits next to her when she starts ranting about a channel and insulting people, the fact that he sits next to her and encourages it and seems to be enjoying it is like, no, not at all typical. Nope. 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 It's hard being financially tied together. It's easier to stay together sometimes. That is for sure in any religion or culture, definitely. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you, all wonderful people. Wa alaikum salam. I'm a Muslimah. Sorry about my dog, sir. Baby, baby, baby. So sorry. God. Sorry. I'm back. Jeez. Okay. Curious about how y'all two families reacted. I know I didn't, George. I know. I came back and saw that. Oh, he's something else. I love him to death, but wow, sometimes. How y'all families reacted when you told them about you converting. My mom said that she wasn't surprised. How it even came out is that I was back for, I don't even know, 6 months-ish. And she was going to make a quiche. And I asked her not to use regular bacon. I was like, could you use turkey bacon? And she said that she couldn't find any. So she made it with regular bacon. And I said, I can't eat this. So that's how it came out. And yeah, so she said she wasn't surprised. And she said, you know, you're a grown adult. Whatever you find is, you know, takes you to a place of peace and happiness or whatever, is like, good, great, whatever, you know, good for you. Pretty much. And when I have worn hijab, she compliments me on it. She says it looks very nice on me, which is unusual from what I understand. A lot of reverts get some flack from their family when they start wearing hijab. But my mom says I look nice in it. I guess that's pretty unusual. Yeah. Angel of Glass, he says, Mom, I'm not impressed by the dog outside. He really went on and on. It really doesn't usually go. He usually just comes when I clap, but he didn't this time. I enjoy that recently in the world of sex education that more books are being written about enjoying halal sex or Muslima sex manuals. Yeah, it's much more openly spoken about. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Like, no shame. You're married. Have fun. Have fun. Hey, LRPD. How's it going? Yes, Kestrel. His family. His dad. I assume he has siblings. He's on camera. People know who he is. What is he doing? Oh my God. I love that dog. He wants us all to know his opinion. So I don't know if you weren't here earlier, I talked a little bit about my dogs. They are Egyptian street dogs. They were born on the street. Their mother died when they were 12 days old. So my ex and I took the litter of 10 and bottle fed them. And now some of them are here with me. So they're feral. They're feral street dogs. That's why they have no generation before them that was domesticated. But they are very affectionate. They do respond to training. But sometimes they wild out like that. And it's like, if there's a chipmunk out there, like, they're not going to listen to me at all. At all. He's so cute, though. I mean, really, if you saw him, like, oh, okay, it's all right. But he's very loud, extremely loud. Yeah, Juliana, I'm sorry. When I can't stand that either. When I hear dogs on people's live streams, and I'm like, I just have to turn you off because it's not worth setting my dogs off. I know. I'm probably gonna try to go back and take it out because I'm sure that was triggering for a lot of pooches. Can Muslim women wear revealing clothing? Publicly? No. Privately? Yeah. Like if you go to an abaya shop, sometimes you'll see like in the city, like it won't be like a nice upscale store, but like you'll see a store that's on one half is selling abayas, just like what Foodie Beauty wears. And on the other half, you'll see like the craziest lingerie you've ever seen in your life, like with feathers and stuff. And it's like, what? Yeah, you and your husband? Psh, whatever. You and your girlfriends, if you're just hanging out together? Yeah. You wear low-cut tops, mini skirts, whatever. Absolutely, yeah. But when you're around a man who's not related to you, you have to cover up fully. Yeah. Mm-hmm. People don't really know about how family-oriented Islam is. We are taught that the paradise is under our mom's feet. Yes. It's God's first, and then your mom, your mom, your mom, 3 times. You got to treat your mom well. Sometimes it's not easy. But you got that's what encourages me to restrain some of my behavior, you know, my religion. It really does. Sansa Cooks is in the house. Oh, yeah. What if who she thinks is his sister is really Salas? It's not coming up on the screen for me. Come on. Come on. Jeez. It's getting to that 2-hour mark. That's when this software boots me off. We might be coming up on it. Sounds like I'm going to read it from the chat. What if who she thinks is his sister is really just Celeste's friend? It's possible. Or his wife. I think if he's married, Foodie Beauty knows about it. She's met her. The wife is probably going along on a lot of these outings. She's just never in camera shot. But she's probably sitting right next to them. If that's the case. Foodie Beauty would have to know her. Would have to. Can we ever see pics of your dogs? Sure. They're awesome. They're the best. This word Muslima is new to me. How is it different to Islamic? People are Muslims. It's kind of like Oriental and Asian. Like an Oriental rug, but an Asian person. I don't know if that's a great analogy, but it's similar to that. Islamic architecture, Muslim people. And Muslima is a woman Muslim. Can I tweet a pic of my dogs? Nope. Oh, I have had channels in other communities. I still have one active, one more than the other. I have a couple channels in different communities. And I've learned that privacy and keeping your mouth shut about the majority of your life is not only smart, but it's critical for your safety. Because people like Chantal, there are people like, I know someone took a little bit of offense to me saying that there are people worse than Chantal or worse than Nader. I'm not talking about their behavior. They're bad people. They suck. I'm talking about to the length that they will go to find you and harm you. I've come across people like that on YouTube when they don't like what you're saying about them and they need to shut you down at no matter the cost. I've learned. I've seen it, and I've been told enough by some people to know that they have found out pretty much everything there is to know about me without me giving up much information at all. So if I post a picture of my dogs, it's not going to be like, oh, let me just pick one. Nope. It's not going to show any of my backyard. I mean, look what they did to her building. You know, she's in her apartment and she tried to block out part of the view. She showed some of it. And I said, that's going to be very easy to find. The coastline in Kuwait is not that long. Just Google Maps, just inch along until you see it. And people found it in like an hour, you know? So I feel the same. No. Like I would probably take a picture. Well, I have plenty of pictures, obviously. Take a picture and cut out the dog so there's no background and then superimpose him like I do with my owl. Like my owl, same thing. Like cut him out and stick him on something because it's too dangerous. Like legit is. These people are nuts. They are nuts. Let's see. Farms people should work for FBI. Hey, maybe some of them do. I'm not even talking about the farms. These people that I've encountered I don't think they know anything about Kiwi farms. I don't think they do. I don't think they watch those kind of channels even. But, you know, these narcissists, you know, I mean, narcissistic injury is no joke. You start outing these people about like a flaw, a behavioral flaw, like, oh, you're kind of scamming people. Oh, no, they can't have that. Nope. You're affecting their money. No, they're coming for you. They're coming for you. You got to be very, very careful with that stuff. Yeah. But, oh, yeah, I didn't mean to go on and on the mastermind about that. It wasn't directed at you specifically. I'm just like, of course you want to see pets. Of course. Like these dogs are very, very cute. Yeah. I mean, of course you want to see them. You just heard one going off and me like, come on, come inside. So, yeah, it's natural, you know? But maybe you see a part of a house that's close to mine. And, you know, maybe you've pieced together some other information, you know? Yeah. I don't want to have to go to court for like a manslaughter charge because someone came on my property. You know, it's just a lot of drama. A lot of drama. Yeah. Also, can you please answer my last question, Lily? I have to try to find it. I am looking now. I'm just on my phone scrolling because this software is almost a joke. Also, thank you. Do you think Salah has divorced or not? Married? I think he's married. Was that your last question? I thought I answered that. I think he's married. Has been. Is. Yeah. Might have a kid. That hamster probably belongs to his kid. Like you see him walk in and he's handing her the cage. Handing her the cage. Did he really go in the other room to get the hamster and bring it out to her? Or did he walk in the door with his son's hamster and hand it to her? Like, oh, Harry's part of the show now, so I'll bring him over, you know? Espresso, I would never use a stock image because my dogs are precious. Too precious. too precious. Coconut retrievers, I love that. Can they divorce? Sure. Yeah, anyone can divorce. Yeah, no problem. Divorce is allowed, yes. Do you think second wife would explain him not being at the apartment all the time? Oh, I think Chantal's the second wife. Let's be clear about that. Boys, please. Please. Yes, you're cute, but you're loud and I'm doing something, okay? Please. Not being at the apartment all the time and not showing the marriage certificate. These can both exist at the same time. I realize that's private, but I think her health information is also private. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm negative for gonorrhea, positive for antibodies for Hep B. Yeah. Yeah. Marriage certificate. Oh, no. We keep some things private around here. Yeah, that's a little too far. Like, oh, okay. Why don't you just show us some x-rays of your entire body? Like, we already know too much. Yeah. So, if anything, Chantal is the second wife. He might not live with her at all. Very possible. Not showing the marriage certificate. They could be married. He could have two wives. That's entirely possible. They could have a valid marriage certificate. But like you said, the question is, like, you show all this stuff, but this one thing, is private? Why? It would be so easy. Like one video, a reaction channel made one video about her earlier saying, oh, if she has hepatitis B, she can't be in Kuwait, whatever, right? Just that one video, that's the only one that I saw and found, I searched. She created a whole video to react to it, to say, oh no, here's the proof. And look, I'm going to pull up a snippet from a website. If you can read. That's what she said, right? So she goes to all that trouble for one channel hinting that she might have it when she's already said herself that she showed positive antibodies, and no one in the community, many people, I won't say no one, obviously, but many didn't know what that meant and just ran with it on Twitter, mostly. Like, you know, to an extreme, of course. But you have multiple channels, probably every channel that has covered her has questioned the legitimacy of their marriage. But she doesn't feel a need to just bust that out and take a quick picture of it. Even if it's all in Arabic. Like here's my signature. Here's Salah's signature. We know you can't read the rest. You figure it out. Get it translated. She could do that. She hasn't. Why? But we're showing blood test results? Okay. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. I'm going to go in a few minutes here. We're coming up to the 2-hour mark. Whether she is Muslim or not doesn't have any effect on a woman's rights. Yes, he has to inform her and give her the choice to stay or go. He cannot do it behind her back. I think the additional wives thing makes sense of why he'd be okay with a 400-pound, infertile, immobile, older woman. Wouldn't a man normally not want to close that option of kids with a woman like her? Especially Arab men. Arab men, they have kids. They have kids. And that could even be a reason to take a second wife if your first wife can't have kids. Like, that would be considered a legitimate reason. Yeah. Oranges, oranges. If Chantal is the second wife, isn't she bringing shame to the family? Yes. Isn't she bringing shame to her own family in Canada? But in an Arab country, it's like tenfold. Crazy. There's Sansa Cook says there's so many videos where she said all will be revealed. Her own words. Yeah. So far, just blood tests. Yeah, everything will be revealed. I have my ways. We found a loophole. Okay. Well, if you can't talk about it, it must not be that legal. You know? Just saying. Oh, no problem, Lily. No problem. Blondie says, I do believe this is all a business arrangement. I agree with that. I do. Something. They're both getting something out of it. We just don't know exactly what. Does anyone know if a man could bring other wives in during immigration? I don't know exactly what you mean by that. What's during immigration? He can have up to 4 wives for any reason. Timing, things happening at the time doesn't really affect anything. Can the family do something about Chantal more than just being upset? No. No, because his father's not a Kuwaiti national. I had discussed in a video, I think it was the elephant in the room, where it's something called wasta. And it just means that you have some influence. You might have a little pull. You might know some people. You're of a higher social class. If a family has, first of all, if a family has wasta, if they are influential, they would never have allowed this in the first place. This never would have even happened. It would have been nipped in the bud immediately. But if it happened, maybe they found out about it later. Maybe he hid it. It was a big secret or something. Could they do something? If they know people, they could have her deported. Absolutely. Like, look, we don't want her harmed. We don't want anything bad to happen. But really, she's making a fool out of all of us. Get her out. They could do that. But I don't think his family has that level of influence. I don't think his dad is a Kuwaiti national. And anyone that's not isn't going to have a lot of power in that country, if any. If any. Or the marriage could be fake. There's no reason for it to be fake. They can have a marriage contract. This is not, you gotta think of it. You can't think of it like in the West. This is a totally different thing. Totally different. Like for us to get married, it's a huge deal. It's huge. Even if it's a marriage of convenience, let's say you marry your sugar daddy, right? You're like, let's make it official, sugar daddy. And he's like, okay, whatever, right? If that's what you want, honey. It's still a big deal. You still have to get a marriage license. You still have to have blood tests done. You can have a religious wedding or not. You can do it at the courthouse or in Las Vegas, right? But it's still a thing. In Arab countries, it's not, weddings can be extremely extravagant and over the top, or it can be, we're going to the courthouse and we're going to sign this document together, the end. And it's not a big deal. And with these temporary marriages, they don't have to go through some big whole process to get divorced. They don't have to get lawyers. They don't have to divide assets. It's not about who gets the kids. They tear up a piece of paper. So it's not the same. There's no reason why she wouldn't be married. Them spending any time together alone, they would be very, very stupid not to have a marriage contract in their wallet. Very stupid. There's just no reason. During the immigration process, if Foodie Booty brings him in, oh, that's a good question. Can he bring other wives? Oh, wow. That is so interesting. I have no idea. That is very interesting. Because, right, would Canada even acknowledge those other marriages? Or is it because Canadian law says only two people can be married to each other? Would they even recognize the other marriages? Very good question. I have no idea. Very good question. I'm striking this channel for using my picture in the thumbnail. Yalla. Okay, get to it. Get to it. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for my strike from a couple days ago, too. That has not materialized. Oh, shocking. Shocking. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up in just a second. We'll see if there's any more quick questions I can answer. Illegal because polygamy. If that's the case in Canada, then that's definitely a no-go for immigration, right? Does she have the official marriage or the temporary one? LRPD says we don't know. We don't know. It's all speculation. We don't know. No idea. Everyone's just guessing. Like some people are making more educated guesses than others that are just throwing something out there. But at the end of the day, none of us know. None of us know at all. None. Only they know. She might not even know. He might have convinced her that they have a marriage contract and maybe they don't. She can't read Arabic. She said the other day she won't even try. Won't even try to. So it's possible that she thinks they are, but they're not. That's possible too. We just don't know. I offered to bring his other wives under my abaya, but only if I get their in-flight meals. Nice. Oh, too funny. In the US, you have to specifically agree there are only two of you. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it would be like ethical non-monogamy or something. Then you can't bring your ethical non-monogamous partner in. I don't know. Good questions, guys. Excellent questions, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you again to Kay Ameri for joining us today. That was really helpful. That was valuable. I really appreciate having someone else to bounce things off of. That's awesome. I'm sure it was nice to hear another voice too. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I do have this video of her criticizing women who wear skin-tight clothing, as she said, or makeup. That's either going to be posted tonight, probably tomorrow, I would guess. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. If I didn't get to your question, it's only because I didn't see it. I really tried to grab as many as I could. Go ahead and leave it in the comments below, and they'll be answered. We will get to it either in the comments or we'll do another video. Something. We will answer your questions. You're not being ignored. Yeah. Lily, do you still have another question? Or am I just seeing something? Can you answer my last question or not? I thought you already said that. Do you think she has been affecting the neighbor by being online? We don't know. No idea. We don't even know if there's anyone else living in that whole building. No clue. No clue. Speculation, truly. Who knows? Masalama BM, thank you for joining today. All of us hatchlings adore you. Thank you. Thanks for joining the nest, everyone. Have a great Memorial Day weekend if you are in the States. If not, have a good day at work tomorrow. And we will talk very soon. Okay, bye-bye.